everybody, welcome back to another draw along. I'm actually going to be narrating this video. Unlike the last couple, I had a friend in town and we were taking a trip, so I was recording while we were just hanging out, and I didn't want to be chit-chatting and ignore my guest. So that's why for that I was trying to get a couple of videos ahead too, so when I went out of town I didn't have to worry about trying to film anywhere. Anyway, back home, I opened up Instagram today, not Instagram, Pinterest, and I found this little happy monster with a flower, and I thought it was pretty cute, and figured we can give it a go. As usual, I'm gonna be drawing with my red pen and my red pencil, blue pen, that's it, and we'll get started with the red pencil and see what we can do here. This monster is pretty. I'm gonna actually try to draw just down in this area. I've been trying to fill up the page recently, but I'm gonna see if maybe I can get a couple drawings on one page, maybe another video. I'll try to draw something, maybe get a few videos out of one page. I'm running low in this sketchbook, which is pretty cool because I don't think I've ever filled up a sketchbook before. Anyway, start this monster down at the bottom. It's a pretty round little monster, so I'm just gonna draw a circle real quick. Keep it light. You can see it a little bit there. And then his feet. So we got this rounded edge here, this rounded side, and then his feet come down just like that. I'm gonna draw sort of a flat bottom to indicate the ground where his feet are resting. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna follow this curve of the circle and extend it down to here. And then in the center here, I don't know if I think I talked about negative shapes in another video, but I'm gonna focus on the negative shape here in between his feet. So I'm just gonna draw this right there. And this will indicate, one leg's over here, one leg is over there. And coming off of this side, we have a hand. So I'm just gonna draw a shape similar to what I see this hand as over here. So just that little kind of a teardrop coming off the side there. And then over here, there's a fist holding a flower. So I'm gonna draw a circle for this fist. I don't know how detailed I'm gonna get with all of this. I'm certainly not gonna color it all in, but we'll see what we can do here. I'd like to get his features in here. Let's draw a couple of big round eyes. Looks like the right eye's a little bit smaller. Okay. And then a big smile. And his smile's coming up into his eyes there. That's a nice big smile. Very happy. I wonder if he's happy because he's received a flower, if he's giving a flower to somebody like a robot we drew in another video, or perhaps he just found a flower and loves it. Either way, got a happy monster here. I'm gonna try to recreate that on the page. Let's get his teeth in here. I'm gonna draw a circle for the flower. So I'll draw a line here for the flower stem, and then we'll get a big circle here for the flower, and it's covering part of his body there, covering his horns up here that we'll draw in a second. So I'm gonna draw a big circle for the flower. And then we'll get the horns in here. So this horn is actually coming down into the flower. Horn on the left side looks a little bit larger, and it's kind of right about, would be the center here, so it's going to be about this wide, it looks like. There we go. Got a couple of horns, got some shapes for the flower. This is basically just drawing shapes. We did a big circle for the body, circle for the hand, circle for the eyes, a little kind of blobby shape here for the arm. Obviously the smile, a couple bendy triangle shapes for the horns, and then we extended off of the circle a little bit and drew some feet with this negative shape there. So I like that. Let's see if we can get, actually I want to kind of get the top of his head a little more solid in here. And then get his hair. A couple little messy bits of hair here. Nice. Let's get those pupils in. Bring them to life. Okay, so his pupils are pretty big. And then within the pupil, I feel like I could have drawn those eyes even larger. I would like to do that. I'm gonna draw these eyes even bigger than they are. All right, let's go. So his eyebrows are right up here at the top of his head. And then his eyes come up almost all the way to his eyebrows. So I guess as most eyes do, come up to the eyebrows. So his eyes are pretty big. Yeah, I like that. Get this other one in here a little bit smaller. Nice. And then a big pupil. And then within that pupil will be another little circle. Will be the whites of his eyes. Nice. I like that. Now we have to, I don't know how detailed I'm going to get on this fist over here. We'll do our best, but let's get some of this fur covering him here. The fur comes over his legs here. I'm just gonna do this for now. And we'll get the fur coming off of that line I just drew. And I'm kind of counting the points here. It's probably a moot point to count them. We don't have to be accurate. We're not trying to make an exact copy here. We're just using this to practice drawing a monster. Nice, so we got some hair going around there. Let's see what we can do about this fist on this side. So you can see his arm extending down a little bit. So his fist kind of finishes off here, and then his arm comes down and goes behind his body. And there's the rest of that fur there. And then we can see a couple of fingers on this side. So we're gonna draw a little line here for that finger, a little line there for that finger. And then you can see couple little fingers back here poking out. All right, and then the flower stem comes up a little bit. And then let's draw the center of this flower, and then we'll get the petals coming off of that. So I am going to count the petals. 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay, see if we can get about 7 petals in here. See how good we can do there. I don't like that. I'm going to draw that a little bit bigger there. There, I think we got 7. Nice. And then we'll get this hand over here. Looks like this arm is sticking out a little wider than I drew it initially. come over here. It's got 3 fingers we can see here. 1, 2, and 3. Nice. And then we have a couple stripes on the horns. And a couple stripes on this horn. Let's draw his hair here. And then 1 stripe, 2 stripes. I'm gonna go over that horn again. Nice. I think that's yeah. We got a couple. Oh, we got couple little lines here. Maybe I'll just leave these like this for indicating some fur coming around him. Okay, got some fur marks there. I like that. Got his eyebrows. I think that's great. Let's go ahead and start penning this in. I'm gonna start with the horns. There we go. Well, start with 1 horn at least. Come down here. See how far we can go before I gotta pick up the pen. Well, I wanted to pick up the pen there so I can overlap. Some of this fur is overlapping. There we go. And we'll get his little feet. I think I'm gonna make the feet come down a little bit further than I drew them. And they're rounded out. And then they come back up. And then you can sort of see the top of his foot there. Nice. And then this foot comes down a little bit further than I drew it. It's rounded, and then comes back up. And then we have this little foot. Wonderful. I'm not going to draw these little lines in here because they're not inked in the character. So I'll draw his arm coming out here. Get his little fingers. And then get this arm coming up here. Wrapping around 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers. The little flower stem going down his hand, and it'll pop out at the bottom here. Lovely. Let's get the hair on the top of his head. And then bring this line down behind the horn. And then we'll get this horn. Let's get the stripes on the horns. We'll get these eyebrows. I'm not following my pen marks exactly, and that's fine. I'm taking some slight creative liberties. Let's go this direction. Let's get that big smile. these teeth in here, these vicious monster teeth. Great. All right, let's start coloring this in. We'll start with the eyes here. I want to start with the eyes. I'm gonna make these nice and dark. Taking my time, I'm drawing up and down here. I'm putting a line down. No particular reason, just seemed like the thing to do. Pushing kind of hard to make the lines a little bit darker. I'm gonna do the same thing for the eyebrows here. We're gonna push a little bit lighter for the blue on his horns. Keep that very light. And then I think I'll also color his feet and hands in lightly with the pen. And then we'll go over his fur with the red pencil. I think that'll be a good contrast. Now I think I'm gonna go over this stem with a couple of lines just to darken it up a little bit. Okay. Light on his feet and legs. Now I think I'm gonna go over these little fur marks here a little bit darker, so when I color in with the red, these still stand out. So I'm pushing pretty hard here just to make them dark. And then we'll color the rest of them in. We'll keep it a little bit lighter than those hair lines I just drew. I thought recently about picking up some crayons. I thought that might be kind of a fun way to color in some of these drawings. Do any of you use crayons? I think it's kind of an inexpensive way to enjoy some coloring. You can certainly spend a lot of money on pencils. My friend that's visiting has oil pastels, and she was saying how expensive some of those can get. But, oh, look at that. I like that. This is great. You know what? And I kind of like that they have a little shadow underneath. So I'm gonna put in a little light circle here as a shadow. And then we'll just color this in, just put a couple lines in there. Nice. It grounds him a little bit, I think. That's fantastic. I love that. Look at that. Happy little monster holding the flower. It's beautiful. That was fun. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. You know what? I'm gonna color this in too. We'll just put some color in there. There we go. Kind of wish I had another color for the flower, but that's great. I'm happy with the happy flower monster. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope if you drew along, you like how your monster turned out. And I'll see you in the next one.